Guys, believe it or not, Dead Island 2 is not only still a thing, but it even now has a release date, finally. Here we have a new trailer. The game's actually releasing for all platforms except Switch, February 3rd next year. This is in case you're new to, the game will now have around 6 playable characters, all of which are also infected, so it's kind of a rush-based game. The game will have a higher emphasis on survival elements and also a bigger map. Check it out, just in case you missed it.
Well, sounds like you're the star of the show now.
This motherfucker! Oh shit!
Boom! Gods and whiskey!
I will not have this devil in my house!
This is beyond insane.
Hogwarts Legacy, on the other hand, which was supposed to be released around holidays this year, did just come across another couple of months of delay, and it's got a new trailer too. The game's gonna be released to literally every single platform, even Switch, and on February 10 next year. This is in case you're to someone new, the first open world Harry Potter game that takes place 100 years before the appearance of Harry Potter himself, and this is how it'll all eventually look. At number 3, and this is also from the past Gamescom just a little while ago, we have a brand new game, something from the Grand Theft Auto's producer, something here called Everywhere, which is described by the media so far as a seamless adventure-based multi-world gaming experience that is supposed to redefine how players connect with one another and the digital world around them, which is, I don't know. That's pretty much all there's to it. The fact that the game is releasing for PCs, Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 only sometime next year.
After surviving a shipwreck, you begin your adventure in St. Anne, one of the pirate dens in our world. Dens are centers of pirate activity, where you can craft new ships and equipment, provision for your expeditions at sea, pick up contracts, and socialize with other players.
Moving on, we've got Skull and Bones once again, technically after 6 years of its initial reveal of a game, but just in case you're new to an open world pirate ship battling action RPG in the same vein as Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Just a little bit, however, and apparently it is now releasing November 8th this year. It's going to be coming to PCs, Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 only. For those of you who missed it then, to accompany the good news, Ubisoft came out with both a gameplay and a cinematic trailer too.
Your crew are a pack of vicious raiders and rovers who will mutiny against you, if not kept well-fed and happy. If your ship sinks, you'll lose some progress and respawn at the nearest discovered den or outpost. The good news is that most of your cargo will be recovered, and you'll have the opportunity to retrieve the rest from the wreckage. But you'd better be quick, as other players can also steal it.
At number 5, by the same creators of Dead by Daylight games and all of its updates ever since, from a couple of months ago, we have here a pretty much open world puzzle game, something I've been hearing a lot of good things about ever since, called Project S. This thing actually came out way no more than a couple of days ago, and ever since making a huge wave of hype too. The game is going to be coming to PCs only and due out early to mid next year.
Personal log, sentient contact assessment and response team.
Coming up behind that by Mad Hit Studios, and I've mentioned this one before. We have got something in the same vein of a game that actually came out a few months ago, a science fiction based one, going by the name Returnal, except by an indie developer, well, something called Scars Above. This is a third-person action adventure that technically revolves around this alien structure that has appeared in our orbits, and you play the role of a scientist who has to just deal with it. Check it out, the game is due out for PCs and other consoles as well sometime later this year. Now, coming up behind that we have, actually from a couple of weeks ago, and by these new developers called Newverse. I've actually mentioned this one a couple of days ago, but just in case you're new to, another new game called Earth Revival. This is a science fiction based open world survival multiplayer, but also a single player that actually takes place on a destroyed version of Earth in the year 2012. This is what it's all about. Technically, this is how the game will eventually look like. It is going to be coming to PCs only and sometime next year.
I've seen plenty of criminals in my career, but nothing could have prepared me for this.
Gotham Knights just went on and got itself a new update, and it's not really that huge of a deal, but apparently the game will now have a ray tracing effect support on PCs as well, but not just the consoles. Well, DC just also came out with a new trailer, a reconfirmation that the game is well and on its track of October 21st release across the next generation of consoles and PCs, and that it'll feature an all-new story revolving around the mysteries that connects them with the darkest chapters in the city's history. Check it out.
See you at the premiere.
I need your help. Your skills. Your knowledge. Your adaptability. You got my back?
This biopic is based on a true story. My story. Soon, the world will feel the cold as I do.
Outside the safety of Sepal, the only life Frey will encounter are corrupted enemies looking to rip her limb from limb. Frey's combat spells make quick work of low-level enemies.
Around the same time last month, I believe, we actually did get a new trailer on Square Enix's open world action RPG that's been in the making since 2020, and I'm sure most of you are already familiar with this one, going by the name Forspoken. Well, we got a new trailer for this one, and the news that the game's delayed to next year. A few hours ago, we got a brand new trailer and about 10 more minutes of gameplay, which is pretty good, and the fact that the game's now finally releasing January 24 next year.
Collecting enough mana allows Frey to unlock new spells. With the help of her golden companion Cuff, Frey can scan belfries to reveal nearby points of interest before continuing her journey.
This is the place on Johidi's map, isn't it? Are you planning on retrieving her smithing gear?
Might as well while we're here. Besides, I want to know more about Scylla and Johidi.
You're switching with me.
It's a snap maw. We're not gonna make it!
Coming up behind that by Guerrilla Games, pretty fine folks behind old Horizon games ever since the PlayStation 4 one. Actually, we have from earlier the Summer Game Festival this year. For those of you who missed it, a brand new IP called Horizon Call It a Mountain. This is an open world, once again, non-linear adventure, taking place only in the series' universe and about a totally different story. Call It a Mountain doesn't have a release date yet, technically because we don't have a release date for the console that it's designed for, which is PlayStation VR 2, and only rumored to be released early next year.
Do that, and you shall be a free man. It will take all your wits, your skills, and courage. You have walked in the shadows, Reyes.
Fear is the mind killer.
At 11 by Funcom, which I've mentioned this one before, but just so you get a better idea in case you missed it, the same publishers who did come up with the first Dune game about 30 years ago, we have here also a brand new open world survival MMO something called Dune Awakening. This is the only thing that they came up with, guys. The game's supposed to be coming to PCs and consoles as well, and a release date for it is yet to be announced.
I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing.
At number 12, and to be quite frank, I don't really get it why we still don't have a confirmed release date for this one, but nonetheless. We also got a brand new trailer for Atomic Heart, and it's about 3 to 4 minutes at least in terms of gameplay. Words has it that this is actually finished product, and the game is releasing by the end of 2022. The only problem is that they're just waiting for the right moments. Atomic Heart, for those of you who are totally off, is a first-person shooter, and about a different timeline or scenario where the USS has taken over the World War II using technology.
My dad tells stories of a terrible war that happened across the sky. Heroes fought and died to give us a chance to start over.
Now, coming up behind that we have, from a long time ago, here with us today Ark 2, which is the sequel to the 2017 survival game Ark Survival Evolved, and well, as opposed to the first game, it'll now be a third-person, sort of Souls-like action RPG. So it's pretty different to the original one, obviously. The game is said to be released next year, it's gonna be a Microsoft exclusive, and it'll stay like that for a whole year. Here's the new trailer. Now, I don't know about most of you here, but I believe recently we've seen a ton of new Souls-like game announcements, be it the one that just came out, Thamisia, or Steel Rising, or the other one, Lies of P. Well, there's more, and this is in case you're somewhat new to. We have another one here called Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn that just actually came out with this past month, and it is also a Souls-like action RPG. Well, we just got a new trailer for this one, and the game's set to be released early to mid next year for PCs and consoles as well.
With his friend, Amy and Tails, when trouble strikes, suddenly sucking their plane into a dimensional portal.
Alright guys, now, assuming at this point, specifically if you're a Switch owner, you know about Sonic Frontiers already, which is the first open world-based Sonic game that was ever made. In that case, in a brand new 3-minute video, Sega just came out and detailed pretty much all there is that you need to know about this game and the fact that it is now releasing November 8th this year and into all consoles as well. So keep it in mind.
And solve the mystery of the Starfall Islands. Sonic Frontiers expands on what fans know and love about traditional Sonic games, combining linear-level gameplay and open-zone platforming into a new, action-filled Sonic experience. The world map is bigger than ever, giving Sonic more room to run and explore his surroundings. Sonic Frontiers offers high-speed, open-zone gameplay that gives you the freedom to play the game in the order that best matches your playstyle.
So, you come to hear the legend of the Ulukai. The Ulukai could fly faster than a Ventolin. He could travel anywhere.
Now, for those of you who've been patiently waiting to hear more about the one and only Outcast 2, you might want to know THQ is going to be holding an online showcase very soon. Outcast 2, when you're beginning over here, is going to come our way with a release date and some more in-game footage. Now, for those of you who are new to this one, just in case, this is a cult classic award-winning open-world adventure, and story-wise it is set on an alien planet this time around and set 20 years after the events of the first game. Check it out.
Oh, that's more like it.
His weapons were as much a part of him as your fingers, my toes. His aim was razor sharp. Shield, unbreakable. But as Mar used to tell him, fighting is half the battle. When saving a planet, Mar knows.
This land is not for the weak. Most of us wouldn't last a day.
Now, at number 17, we have from earlier this year on our radar, a brand new, almost brand new, though open world roguelite, something titled Ravenbound, which is described by developers as something with the challenge of a roguelite and the choices of an open world game, then inviting you to explore a pretty large fantasy world or in the sky as a raven. The only problem is that Ravenbound is currently on the mid-development and it does not have a release date just yet.
When you do. The hatred is a force stronger than you can imagine. But just as dust, carried by the wind, can level mountains, you can wield unimaginable power if you let it.
What is it, precious? The precious, of course. The precious. We want it. We want it.
At number 18, we have, for those of you been also waiting, the Lord of the Rings Golem's official lengthy in-game footage from a couple of weeks ago, and the fact that it is now releasing December this year. That is right. The game just underwent another delay. It is coming to pretty much every single console there is, even Switch, and gameplay-wise it is actually now centered around the huge open world aesthetic, and it's more of a story-driven action role-playing kind of game.
You got it all wrong. Once upon a time, there was a freak with no face.
At number 19, we've got once again Blacktail, A Witch's Fate. This is a first-person action adventure and a game about witchcraft and just the legend of Baba Yaga, which is just some Slavic folklore demon something. I don't know. Blacktail, as it appears, centers on the adventures of two sisters who are accused of witchcraft in early medieval times. The game is gonna be coming to pieces in the next generation of consoles only, December 15 this year. Here's a new trailer.
Not bad. You killed again.
If anything bad happens,
And last but not least, from no more than a month ago, we've got something here called Age of Water. This is an MMO adventure that takes place on a water-covered Earth, and as survivors you get to freely roam this massive open sea world on a motorboat or some small ships, recruiting other folks, helping people out that, as you can see, live on the roofs and stuff. Check it out, this is a PC exclusive and due out late 2022 here.
Never gonna lose the ones I love, 'cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that world that I dream of. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, 'cause I can't face this day alone. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams, give me my dreams.